Hello everyone, this is Mutated Nuts, and today we'll be continuing our beginner-friendly Road to OSCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another HackTheBox machine, that is FriendZone. FriendZone is based on Linux and the difficulty is easy, so let's just get started. So first thing on the box, what I always do is I run an AutoRecon scan. If you guys don't know what AutoRecon is, it's an enumeration tool. It's gonna do few NMAP scans at first on the target machine, and based on the output it's going to do additional scans on them. So 95% of the times it works great, but at times you have to manually enumerate things further, so that it's like, always know how to run your commands manually as well. So I'll be using AutoRecon in this particular box and on this target machine. So I'll be running this as root because I want the UDP scan to run as well. Because I'm running the box as Kali, I'll be giving sudo over here. I'll be giving Python 3 in order to run this AutoRecon.py file. I'll be giving the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.123 in the case of FriendZone. I'll be giving the O switch for output directory where I want to save the scan result. So I did already execute the scan because it takes quite some time to get done. So let's just look at the scan results. So first thing is I always look at the full TCP NMAP scan. So let's just look at that, and we see that we have multiple ports open over here. We have port 21 running FTP, and there is a version. You can take this and search against exploit or on Google to find any vulnerabilities or something. You have 22 running SSH. You can take this as well and you can try to have this done, but I don't think there are any vulnerabilities for this. You can go and check obviously. And we have port 53 as well, that is your domain, that is your DNS port. So we have that as well. We have some version over here. We can probably check for this as well on exploit. We have port 80 over here running HTTP. There's a Apache server running over here. Also we have 139 port, that is your NetBIOS. Obviously I think we do have 445 as well, that is running your SMB service. And also we do have a 443 port, that is HTTP using SSL. So that is also present, running the almost the same web server, sorry, the app, yeah, HTTP server, Apache server. And also we do have a certificate present over here, and also it says SSL cert, subject name common in FriendZone red. So we do have a potential domain name over here. So what we can do is we have this thing, we can add it to our host file, and also we have this DNS port open, right? We can try to enumerate things more over here. So we can just take a note of all the open ports first. So we can just go to cherry tree and we can just have a note, that is port 21, then 22, then there is 53, and there is 80, so that we don't miss out on anything because multiple ports are open, right? So we'll just look at the interesting ports. So we can add 139 as well, or we can just leave it. We can have 443 and we can have 445 as well. So what we'll try to do is, since we have multiple things open, we can just check for the first initial things, that is your FTP present over here. You can check for anonymous access over here, but it does not work. You don't have anonymous access. And if you have creds, then probably you need creds, right? First, so this thing does not work. You can go and probably check it, and we can check on FTP as well. But I just don't want to do that, because you can go and check it for FTP. For SSL as well, that you require a credential to log in, and so that does not work. Like as in you require a credential, then only probably you can get something. Then we do have a port 53 over here, so you can try to enumerate domain and we can try to extract information. So what we can do is we can just do a NS lookup, and we can just add this particular address, that is your change our DNS to probably 10.10.123, and it says server can't find something like that. So in short, it did give us an error over here. So what we'll try to just exit, and what we can do is we can run dig and with AXFR in order to get the zone transfer done if there are any subdomains in this particular port 53, right? And we do have a domain name as well present over here. So we can take this and we can have a subdomain present. So this is like the actual domain name over here. And we can try to see if there are any subdomains, like probably it will be like some test.friendzone.red or something like secret.friendzone.red, something like that. So we can do dig AXFR and we can give the IP address over here, that is at host and 10.10.10.123, and also we can mention the domain name over here, that is friendzone.red. So we do that, and we do see that we have multiple subdomains present over here. And we had seen this in a previous, like earlier box, not previous, but we had seen in our old box over here that we use this dig command to get DNS enumerated if we have a valid domain name. So we do see we have something new. Obviously these four are like the same thing. We do see administrator, we have HR, FriendZone, and also the same thing, FriendZone.red upload, sorry. So what we can do is we can just copy these and we can try to paste it over here. So we do have few interesting domains. What we can do is, next thing, you can try to add it to our host, like your etc host file. Before that, we'll just have a look at port 80 and port 443 if we have something, or we can go to port 445 and see if we have something present. Obviously this is a Linux machine and there's Samba, yes, it can happen. So there's no hard and fast rule that you cannot use you know, the SMB and all these things in Linux. So what we'll do is we'll just try to look at, you know, the SMB scans over here, SMB client, and SMB client does list shares over here. So we can just check for this thing before going forward. And as I mentioned earlier, at times SMB client will give you output, SMB map mode wouldn't like. So that's why there's some authentication error over here. We do have SMB map list contents present over here, SMB map share, okay. So all these are giving like some permission error, but we do see something in SMB client, right? So what we'll try to do is we'll just try to run quickly the SMB client. So what we can do is we can do SMB client L, sorry, as well as list contents. So that's why the L switch over there, and the IP, it should be in the same format. Make sure you have the same format written over here, and we'll be giving 1 2 3. So let's just do that, and it will ask you for a password. Just hit enter. Obviously we are trying for an anonymous or guest access, and we do see that we have multiple things present over here. We have the share, we have the type, as well as we have some comment over here. Okay, so it says we have multiple shares present, and obviously we do not get anything like, you know, you have read access, write access, or anything present over here. If you have SMB client only working, so you can obviously try for each and every share. Like after this thing, you can add a slash and add for each and every share over here. So you can do that as well, but what we'll try to do is we'll just try and check with SMB map if that works. So we'll just do SMB map over here. We'll just add you, and we can add guest over here, as well as we can just add the host name, that is host address, sorry, 1 2 3. Let's just do that and see if we get something. So it says guest session. So that's what I'm trying to say, like, you know, AutoRecon works at times, but at times it will give you an error like these things over here, authentication error. But you have to always try to do things manually, because if you see over here, we do have access and we do have a read only share over here. You can check for this general share if you find something, and we do have read write access over here as well. So obviously we can another thing you can do is you can list down, and you know, in a recursive manner. So you just add the R switch, and it will list down all the shares where you have access. So read only shares, you know, if there's some file present over there, we'll get something using this R switch. So let's just do that and see. And over here in the development folder, we do not get anything present over here. Okay, so there's no file present over here, but we do have write access. So probably we can do something with it in like later or something like that. And we do have general over here which says read only, but it says we do have a creds over here. So what we can do is we can just try to get that file, and we can use SMB client for that. So we'll just go back, SMB client, we'll remove the cell switch, we do not require that anymore, and we can just give the U switch over here. And okay, we have to give this and development. I don't think we require the U switch, so let's just give I, and we have to give the IP address over here with the I switch, and also we can give a N switch over here so that it does not prompt for a password, because any which way we do have anonymous access. So we do see we get like a semi shell kind of thing. It's not actually a shell, but yeah, it's like semi shell. So if we do dir over here, it says that, you know, there are no files present, the same thing which we saw in SMB map. So what we'll do is we'll just try to exit over here. You can try to upload some file and see, you know, in the web browser something that this file is present or no. But one thing is that we do not know what location this file is in. Obviously when we did SMB client share over here, it says etc files. but we just know for this particular files directory. That's it. We do not know for these two over here because there's some comment left. Obviously it can be a rabbit hole as well, but yeah. So what we can do is we'll just exit from here. We'll just try to grab the creds.txt which was present over here, and that was present inside general. So let's just do that. So we'll just do dir, and we do have creds present over here. What we can do is we can use mget command over here, and we can do creds.txt. So it says yes, get file. So we can just hit y and enter, or yes and enter. Okay, I think the file has come over here, so I think it's present over here. So let's just take this, add it to exploit or loot directory. So we do have creds over here. It says creds for the admin thing. So it says admin is like potential username, and this is the password. So obviously whenever you have a credential pair, right? So whenever you have a potential credential, so we can just do something like potential creds, and we can just do admin work this. Now there are multiple opportunities where you can use this creds. First thing is, obviously since we already had SMB map, you can try to use this creds in SMB map as well if it lists down multiple other shares where you have read access or write access or something like that. Second thing is you can check for port 21 in FTP. If you have something, you can check for that, but it does not work over here. So I'm not going to do that. So we have port 22 as well. Try to SSH into the box and see if this thing works, and if there is something, so you can do that as well, obviously. And if there are any other login portals over here in port 80 and port 443, so we can look at that as well. So another thing is, if we just want to know like quickly, let's just exit this, and if you want to know that where these shares are present, like if you do this SMB client, okay, just hold on. So if you do SMB client over here, obviously it will list down few shares over here. So if we actually want to know what's the location of all these shares, you can actually know it by using a NMAP script over here. So probably we'll require something like locate shares NSC. So this is for SMB enum shares. So that is going to list down or probably show you details on the location of the file. So we can use that probably. So we'll just use nmap over here, and I don't think we need to give scsv. We'll just use nmap and we'll just give script. We can give the port number, that is 445. You can give a space after that as well, and you can give the host, that is 10.10.10.1, 2 and 3. So okay, my bad, I actually had to enter the script. So the script is the one which I copied earlier, and let's just hit enter, and it's running now. So let this thing run, and probably we can check out the port 80 over here. So let's just go to port 80 1 2 3, and it says, have you ever been friend zone, and like just an image file probably, and there's nothing else over here. Okay, and we do see another domain name over here. You can take a note of this, and you can try for dig over here, like a dig, and zone transfer, you can do that as well. So you can just keep it over here. I don't think okay, we'll just enter it. My bad, I'm not sure what that was. Okay, maybe it does not like what format it is in, so let's just take it from here. Plain text, okay, yeah. So we do have this friendzone portal.red as well, another domain name. You can use that with dig and try to get few things, but let's just do that later if required. So we do have this another domain, and what we can do is we just did view page, so we did not get anything over there. So this is like port 80, right? This is your HTTP page only. So there's another page that is your 443 present over here. Your SSL as well is running. So that's what we can check, and we can just give HTTPS over here and just hit enter, and it says URL was not found on the server. So instead of this, what we'll try to do is we'll just try to add 443 over here and see if it works. And it says your browser send a request. Okay, it requires HTTPS. So it does not work. So in short, what we can do is, it says it's not found, but obviously there is something present on 443, right? So since we have these domains present over here, we can try to add these domains over there into our etc host file, and also we can check out for this friendzone portal, and you can do it. Okay, so what we'll try to do is we'll just try and get etc host file open. So I'm running the box as Kali, not root. Okay, another thing is this scan is actually done, and the one which we had write access, right, this particular share over here, it actually shows the path that is etc development. Like earlier in the comments it was mentioned for the files share, it was mentioned that it's etc whole or something like that. So that means obviously that was not files as well, some different directory, but over here it says etc development. So we do have C written over here. We can ignore it because probably NMAP, I'm not sure, it thinks, but the script actually, not NMAP, but the script thinks like, this is like a Windows directory. That's why it gave the backward slashes as well. So we can add this thing over here and we can just copy this thing. We did get creds from 445. We do have a share called development, and the directory location is probably etc development. So maybe this may be handy later, so let's just have a note of this. You can obviously take a note of all the scans, like the general and all these things, but this is interesting because we do have write access over here as seen earlier. So what we can do is we can just modify the etc host file, and we require root access for that, like root privilege. And I'm running the box as Kali, so let's just do sudo and nano. I use nano, I prefer nano instead of vi. If you all are comfortable with vi, you can do that as well, but I prefer nano, so I'll just do this etc host, enter my password, and we do have this host file over here. Obviously I have like some for the other boxes as well, like I have added those, but we can ignore that for now, and we can just add 10 10 10 1 2 3 and just hit tab so that it comes to this particular thing. And we do have multiple things listed over here. Okay, so we have to get it in the proper format, so probably we require a space to be done, so let's just do that instead of. Okay, so what we can do is we can just take this thing, we'll just remove the commas and as well as the full stops. I don't think we require that. So copy this and paste it over here, and you can do a Control O and to write it and press enter, press Control O. It says over here file name to write, so press enter, and then it says wrote 16 lines. So I'm not sure what it means by 16 lines, but yeah, it says wrote 16 lines. I think it takes the whole thing in consideration, but yeah, so you can just press Control X and you can exit, then that's it. So I think so we have updated the host file. So if I just do cat etc and host, we can read this as a Kali user as well. So we do have this administrator and different domains present over here. Okay, so you can obviously check for the FriendZone portal as well domain, the one which we did find over here, but I don't think there is anything interesting. If you all want, you can take it, but I don't want to go and check it. But obviously when you do the box, you have to check for all the domains, all possible domains, if you find something interesting or not. Okay, so what we can do is we do have this HTTP, right? So we can enter these things over here, and we can check. First we can check like randomly for HTTP itself, and it comes down to the same page. Okay, so we do have the same page over here, and it has something like HR FriendZone. So let's just try that as well. It's bringing us to the same page, and also we have uploads FriendZone over here. So the reason why there are like different, okay, so let's just look at the HTTPS sites now. So let's just copy this thing and enter HTTPS and enter this thing, and we do see we get a page over here. Like earlier we did see that that web server did not have a page, but probably we entered a domain over here, and due to virtual host routing, so this particular thing, we probably got some web application which says login form for FriendZone. So what we can do is we can, whenever you get a custom login page, obviously you can do a view page, so then see if you get something, but there is nothing over here, I guess. So you can just, okay, I don't think we have anything over here. So what we can do is we can try to actually do a SQL bypass over here and see if that works, but that does not work over here. So probably you can try it and see if it works, but like for the custom login page, always make sure you have that SQL cheat sheet done, like the bypass, no authentication, sorry, authentication bypass. We have seen it in the previous videos as well, so you can do that over here and see. But over here it does not work. You can try for default credentials like admin and all these things, And obviously we do have a credential over here, right? Valid credential. So you can check for that as well. So we'll just come back to this in a moment, but we'll just check out the other pages as well. We do have the uploads FriendZone red page over here, so we can check this, and let's say some upload stuff, and you can probably upload something like browse something image, and we have seen multiple times, right? We did actually upload an image, but with a PHP script in that, and we were able to get a reverse shell. So we could probably do that as well. So we do have multiple domains over here, and what we can do next is we can just check. We do have this admin, and another thing is, let's just we did get this host file up. What we can do, we can run gobuster scans as well, because that is very important. And running gobuster, first, there are multiple ways to run gobuster actually. First is you run gobuster scan or derb or derbuster, whichever you all are comfortable with, but I prefer gobuster, and so that's why I use gobuster for all the boxes. So first, try to do it with your normal IP address, that is this thing. Try to do it on the HTTP page itself. Okay, try to get your gobuster done over here. Then try to do a gobuster with the HTTPS page. If obviously there was nothing present over there, but you can do that, or what you can do is you can actually try and do a gobuster over here with this particular domain name, this particular subdomain over here. So you can try to do that as well. And we'll just look at the gobuster scans for the TCP, the TCP port 80. Yeah, so we'll just look at that, the ones which AutoRecon did run, and see if we get something interesting. We do have index HTML. I think that's this default page over here. We do have WordPress over here as well. So let's just look at that and see if that is somewhere something is interesting over here. It says WordPress parent directory, and obviously it comes back over here. There's nothing much over here with the default scan of gobuster in AutoRecon, and there is robots.txt as well. So you can check for this and see if there's something, and say seriously. So probably there's some sort of rabbit hole, or there's nothing, probably just trying to troll us or something like that. Okay, so we do not have anything, and we can just close this. We can check for the 443 as well, and obviously there was server status only, where we do not have access 403, so we can ignore that as well. So okay, so you can manually run gobuster over there. You can take this domain and run gobusters. Okay, so you get the small txt, common txt. You can take the uploads domain and run gobuster. You can take the HR domain and run gobuster. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just look into this administrator one FriendZone red first, and we do have a login page over here, right? We can just take this admin creds. As I mentioned, try to check everywhere. Check it on port 21, port 22, port 80. If you have some login page, for port 443 where you have this administrator thing. So you can check for those things. You can check for SMB as well. So we'll just check for this 443 administrator FriendZone. So we'll just enter admin over here, and we'll paste the password. My bad, I think I copied this admin. Okay, make sure you do not take this, consider this, because that's the separation between the creds. So take this, do a login, and it says login done, visit dashboard.php. So we do have login PHP over here. Another thing is, we do know that PHP is running over here. PHP is running, so that's important, because if we need a reverse shell or something, we have some information that PHP is present. Probably we can do something with PHP, like some command execute, whatever it is. But yeah, we do know that PHP is present over here. It says visit dashboard.php, so it just says / and dashboard. So let's just go into this and try to get this dashboard done. And it says over here, small photo script for FriendZone Corp. We are dealing with a beginner PHP developer, and application is not tested yet, or something like that. It says enter image name. Sorry, it says image name param is missing, and please enter it to show the image, default image, so and so, blah blah blah. So in short, obviously, when this, if you look at it, it says that the image name parameter is missing, and by default there's an image ID over here with the page stamp, which we can include over here. So obviously, first thing what came in mind was that thing over here, uploads FriendZone, right? You can take this and add it over here, And we do have this page which is accepting images, and here this page, it's including this image. Probably this is like a default parameter to enter over here, but in short it is trying to include that image. So what we can do is we can just try to browse and select an image file and see if this particular thing actually gets uploaded, and we can call that file or no. So what we can do, we can just try to go over here, create a simple image. So I'll just take a screenshot over here, small screenshot, select a region. So I'll just take this creds and I'll just say save, just save it. FriendZone, workplace, just save it over here itself, and I'll just change the name to probably test.png. So I do have this file over here, so we can just try and upload and see if this particular thing works. So we'll just go over here, workplace, okay, test.png, and it says this test.png file is present over here. We'll try to upload it. It says uploaded successfully, my bad, and it gives us some random number over here. So what we can do is we can just try to check that file if this is present. Before that, we can check out this default parameter itself. And before giving the default parameter, I hope you all are familiar how we give cmd is equal to who am I, right? The question mark and who am I, how we give the parameter. So obviously we require a question mark over here and then enter this particular parameter. So over here it gives us some file that is haha, something went wrong, the script include wrong param, and it says final access timestamp is something. So probably it says there's some wrong parameter present over here, but not sure. We do have this a.jpg file and we had uploaded a test.png, so we can just try to check for that. Test.png, sorry, png, and it says over here there's some different thing. I did not change anything over here on the timestamp. Obviously first thing I thought, like, probably you have to copy this timestamp and it should be present over here. So but that's not the way it goes. So obviously this is the first thing you should always try, right? It works or it does not work, that's fine, but obviously it says it requires a timestamp, and this looked like a timestamp somewhat. So probably I thought we had to enter that over here, but over here we get final access timestamp is this, if test png, and if I enter something like timestamp 123, we do not get anything over here. Okay, and if we enter timestamp again over here, we get a value that it's ending from 268, right? So let's just try to enter 268. It says 273. It's probably going on increasing, like it's 277 now. So in short, this is like not some random text, but it's generating some time based on the actual time, sorry, timestamp based on the actual time, something like that. So what we'll do is, we do not have the test png. If we look at this, if you do a view image info, my bad, you can just do view image, and it says images test.png was not found on the server. So obviously there's another directory that says images, and what we can, I think it's present over here, images in the administrator. You can run a gobuster scan over here in administrator and see if you get something. So what we can do is we can just go and run gobuster. Before that, you can locate the small txt file, and I do know that, you know, like I do run the small txt first, and but earlier I used to run like the common txt, but that's like really small, like 4,000 words. Sometimes I miss out on few things over there, so I started like as a base standard, so to run small txt for gobuster. So look at the small txt, and we do have the small txt. So this is the one which you're looking for, word list. So just copy this thing and run with gobuster. So gobuster, we can give the u switch, sorry, we'll give the dir mode, and we'll be giving uswitch for URL, and we'll be giving the HTTP the page. Before that, we can just give the word list because I had copied it, the small txt. Over here we have to enter the URL, that is this particular thing. Don't enter this dashboard and all these things, because we want to have a gobuster run. Actually, you know, it should be executed with this administrator FriendZone. So I want that to happen. For some reason it got pasted over here, so we'll just go back. Okay, so now what we'll do is we can give an extension switches. So probably we can enter X and PHP, since we already know PHP is running, so PHP is must. We can give txt, we can give like pl, we'll give py as well as sh, something which is very common for Linux machines, and we'll be giving html and CGI as well. You can give that, and you can give the O switch over here. For output, you can give gobuster, something like 443 administrator. You can have it a long name or you can have a short name, whichever you all are comfortable. I like adding multiple things like administrator because I know that was done for this administrator domain. And also we do have I can give the ext, or I can mention SMA for small, and probably ext for extensions as well, and txt, something like that. So just a naming convention which I follow, so that I know that this scan actually did run over here for administrator, and I did run the small txt scan, and I did give extensions as well. Just a common thing which I do. So you can run this scan, as well as you can give the T switch for threads. You can have a threads for like 40. So default is 10, 40 will increase it 4 times like the speed, because there'll be 4 times the threads running. And you can do that and run the scan, but I did already execute the scan, so I'm not going to do it again. And it says no such file or directory. Okay, my bad. I have to give a space over there after this. So it does run, and it may take some time. So I did already execute the scan. So let's just look at the scan result. So let's just look at the small txt, and we do see we have the login PHP, which we had come across earlier, right? During the login page, we do have an images folder, we do have dashboard.php, and we do have timestamp.php. So we'll just take this images folder and try to load this thing over here and see if we get something. So we do have 2 images over here, that is image A and image B. So let's just click on this. We do have that same image which we did find earlier over here. So let's just go back maybe. Okay, so we can just enter something like okay. So it's the same file which we had entered over here if that test, the default script was present for dashboard. So if you remove this, the default script was present over here, that is image A timestamp. So let's just look at that and see. So the same image which is present, and there's one more image present, that is B. So let's just try adding B over here as well. We are just gathering information. It's not that we are exploiting something. We're just trying to figure out something. It says got it, and there's some image over here as well. So this looks like the same image present over here, and there's nothing present. Obviously the page name says timestamp over here, which we did get, and we do have a login PHP over here as well as dashboard PHP. So let's just quickly try for the login PHP. And if we enter login PHP like this, just try for LFI, right? Because obviously we do have equal to sign. Another thing is, make sure you try for LFI wherever there are equal to signs. Try to execute LFI and see if it works. If you do login PHP, some reason it does not work. And we had seen timestamp over here earlier, which was only timestamp. This .php was not present. So what we'll try to do, we'll just try to do the same thing over here with login, and it says wrong. Okay, so it looks like if you enter the wrong creds. Okay, so let's just go back to administrator, and it comes over here. If we enter something like something ASDSD, some random creds, it says wrong over here. So in short, if you do not, this is the login page actually. So obviously it says wrong, and this is same thing which is happening. You can try to load the dashboard.php as well, but it will it will go in an endless loop. It will try to execute dashboard because you have dashboard over here which is executed, and you're executing another dashboard inside that, and so it will go round and round and round. So a lot of things, it will keep going. So I'll just not do that now, but yeah, you can do that and confirm as well. In short, it looks like we have LFI for limited particular pages over here which we can include. And if you do want LFI present for something else, you can do that as well. Another thing is, you can try for you can just go to payload all the things, I guess, all the things. Let's just try for that and try to check for LFI and see if we get something interesting over here. So local file inclusion, if you guys don't know what LFI is, do have LFI somewhere. File inclusion, we can check out for, okay, let's just scroll through this. We do have LFI basic thing, we can check for this. So we'll just have a look at this and see if this works. or most likely it probably requires a page which is like ending with PHP, because I think that login, we just entered login without .php, right? Sorry, so that's how it's gonna work. Probably you can try doing all these things like one-on-one. You can try for basic RFI as well. I don't think RFI works over here. Also, we come across LFI and RFI, local file inclusion, remote file inclusion, using wrappers, and you can try for these wrappers over here. I don't think this thing works, so let's just try for this. You can obviously try this for the first time. What it's basically doing is, you have this page name, right? After this, you can just add the wrapper over here, that is a PHP filter convert icon UTF-8 to UTF-16, I guess, and probably to UTF-8-16, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's trying to convert something into some file which, you know, we can retrieve and bypass this LFI thing. So it says index PHP over here. Make sure you add this with some actual file which is present, like probably login file. So let's just do login.php. We'll just do that, and it shows nothing over here. Why? Because earlier we had seen, right, we did enter only login and we got something. So it says we do have something over here, and it looks like we have this PHP code present, whatever is actually present in that particular login page. So you can try to check this code out. You can copy it and, you know, have it over here. So you can just go back, login.php, open this page. You can add this PHP code over here. Obviously there are like few things which says echo username, all this kind of thing. Another thing is, you can just have the base 64 done over here. So we can just take this. So PHP filter is working, and probably we can, you know, exploit this and try to get multiple files. We do have a base 64 data over here, so you can copy that, and we can just try to do an echo n. Let's just go to the exploit directory first, then we'll do echo n. Base 64d. So we do get that page, which is the login page over here with these parameters. So in short, what this filter is doing is, it's taking that login PHP page from the target machine, and it's going to convert it into a base 64. It's going to do a base 64 encode. The same thing was happening over here. Okay, it's converting to this UTF thing, and it's going to give us an output over here. It's going to include that file. So in short, it will not execute this login PHP as PHP, because the reason is because obviously this is base 64. There has to be some mechanism that you have to decode it and then execute it. So that's why we can take that file without being executed. So we can check the file contents of this login page, and it looks like something like this. So obviously it's the same credentials and password. You can look at that, and it says set cookies, something like this over here, and it says login done, otherwise you go to wrong, something like that. Okay, so we do have this thing present. We can check the same for timestamp as well, and we do have timestamp over here, so we can check for this thing. Okay, my bad if I might have entered the entire thing last time, but yeah. Base 64d, and it's the same thing. It's like probably creating a time, which is like time, and adding a few seconds over here, 3600, and it says final access timestamp, and it's getting this value over here. That's it. This is what is happening over there. And also you can check out the dashboard.php. So we do have dashboard over here, PHP. Okay, my bad. Now you can enter the dashboard because it will not execute as PHP. So we can take this particular thing. I think we'll just do a view page source, get this entire file, entire text, my bad. Do an echo n. You can probably save these files if required, so you know you can analyze it further. So if you look at base64d code, it says like there are multiple things present over here, and it says get image ID, and you know there is an include over here, which is that get parameter page name, and it's appending it with .php. That's why the get parameter, whatever we have it over here, right? We write multiple parameter for PHP, the get, or you know, get request, sorry, the request or the get parameter. We have PHP over here. That's why we are entering only dashboard or login or timestamp, and the PHP is getting added over here. So that's how it's actually working. So in short, if in that dash page name parameter, right, we are giving something like page name timestamp, so we are giving this thing, but when it goes to the server, it will go as timestamp, and that .php will come over there. So that's why it's including that .php file, and if we need LFI for any of the files, we actually need to have an extension of .php. Okay, so another thing is that image upload thing, right? So if you try to upload that particular image, but you know, probably to get something, but that does not work. Let's just look at that. Okay, so we do have this thing present over here, and we do, in short, we do require the .php command. Otherwise we could have tried for etc password or something, or try to get some secret key or something like that. Okay, so next thing is what we can do. We can just try, and obviously you can try and upload 4 files over there in that upload directory, but that's a rabbit hole. There's nothing present in that particular file. There's just some random upload thing, and it's not going to save that file anywhere. So that's not how it works. And what we can do is, we have that SMB share thing, right? Earlier we had seen over here, we had marked it over here in etc development. So let's just try adding a simple reverse shell over here, reverse PHP or something like that, and see if that works. So what we can do is, we can just have, okay, let's just create a file first. Let's just close these things, do not require them. Create a document, simple document, which says something like, okay, I'll just enter mutednuts.php. Open this, and we can just enter a PHP script over here which says PHP echo system, and probably we'll just do who am I and see if this actually works first, and then we can probably modify it and see, you know, if there's something. So we can just do system who am I, or we could have just done echo and who am I, that's it, because sometimes there will be restrictions on running system commands or no, but we can try this because I think it works. So let's just see. Okay, so we do have this thing, mutated nuts, and we'll just log into that SMB client which we had done earlier. So where did it go? Development. Okay, no shares. We do not have anything over here, so what we'll do is we'll just do input, and we'll just do mutednuts.php, and it says yes. Sorry, it says put file, so I'll say yes. And if we do dir now, we do have this mutednuts.php file. And earlier in SMB, that NMAP SMB scan, we did find out that it belongs to this etc development directory. So what we can do is, we can just go back over here. We have this resource thing. We can just remove this for now, and we can add it. You can obviously go back directories and try to add etc password and try all those things, but it does not work that way. So let's just add etc and just enter, sorry, and just enter development and enter mutednuts. Now I'm not adding PHP because we had seen earlier, right? We just saw that PHP is not required over here because it will append the PHP later. So I add mutednuts over here, and it says nothing. We do not get anything over here in etc development, something like that, mutednuts. Okay, so if we do dir over here and see, so we do not have anything, and let's just look at the file again. Probably, okay, my bad, I just added a space over here, so that's the reason it did not work. So make sure you know, whenever you fall into error, obviously it would be like, hey, you know what, actually does not work. Make sure you double check your script, and obviously I did add a space by mistake over here. So let's just try adding this file again. Let's just delete this file probably. Nuts.php dir input, yes. Okay, so we do have this file over here. Let's just try adding this or loading this again. And if you do that, we do get a successful remote command execution over here which says www data. So in short, we do have remote command execution. What we can do is, we can just try and add a reverse shell, that is your PHP reverse shell. So we'll just try to find out a PHP reverse shell. So we can do PHP reverse shell. Over here we do have one from Pentest Monkey, so we can take that, and you can do raw. You can do a git clone as well. So you can do this, create a document over here which says reverse PHP. You can add any name if you want, And over here you have to change two things. One is obviously the IP address, that is your attack machine's IP address, that is 10.10.14.12. that is my IP address, like the attack machines. For you all, the box IPs may be a bit different, so make sure you all change according to that. And over here it literally mentions change this, so change this as well. You can enter 444 333, any of these. You can enter 444, any other port number which like a non-standard port, you can enter this over there. And let's just leave it as it is. Save this reverse PHP. We can create a NC listener over here, that is NC NVLP 4444. NC is nothing but a connection tool from the target to the attack. So if there is some reverse shell coming, NC will catch it and establish a connection. So make sure you all know how NC actually works properly, because it is very useful in doing these boxes over here. So we do have a netcat over here present. So we are giving the N switch for numeric IPs only. We'll be giving V for verbose. We'll be giving L for the listening mode, because we are waiting for that reverse shell probably to come and, you know, get a connection over here, like establish a connection. The P for the port number, that is 4444. So we can upload that reverse PHP file now over here. So we'll just do PHP this, yes, and the file is now transferred. So let's just dir. We do have this reverse PHP over here. So what we can do is we can just go back and add reverse over here, hit enter, and we see that we get a shell over here. So I don't think we require this anymore, so let's just close this thing. And what we can do is obviously we are as www data, and we can just try to upgrade this shell first. So actually let's just go and see which Python do we have. We do have user bin Python over here. So next thing is you can try to upgrade the shell using Python C, import pty and pty spawn bin bash. So we do that, we get this. I'll just press Ctrl Z, and then I'll press enter and echo. So once I do that, I'll press FG. Now over here I'm actually pressing FG, but it will not be visible on the screen, and I'll just press enter, and this thing will come some weird looking thing. So let's just enter reset and screen xterm. You can enter xterm, or yeah. So if you do who am I over here, so you can, you know, go back and forth over here, as well as the previous commands as well. So this is what I got over here, and we can obviously check for sudo L, but it says it's asking for password. So I don't think there is anything. In short, I cannot access sudo L. So you can check for uname A and see the OS information. We do have a 64-bit OS over here, 64-bit Linux over here running. We do get FriendZone, the host name, and all these kind of things. It's running Ubuntu. Okay. So what we can do is we can just go back and see if we get any flags. So let's just go back to home directory and see if there are any other users. It says friend, so let's just go to friend. My bad. So we do have friend over here. My bad. Okay, that did work, but yeah, don't use that dir, but use lsla. We do have this user txt flag over here, and it's very well readable as well. We can very well read it because we belong to the other groups. Groups, my bad. So we do belong to www data. So in short, we are present where we get our user txt, and we can manually enumerate and check for these things. This bash history is actually going to dev null, so there's nothing probably present. You can try and enumerate these things over here. Next thing is you can manually enumerate directories, or you can check for sudo L, which there was nothing, and then we can do uname A, and then probably try to run a LinEnum scan. So before that, let's just try to locate the LinEnum.sh. Let's just do that, and we do have this thing present over here. So let's just try to copy it into our current working directory. You can get it from GitHub if you guys don't know what and where LinEnum is. It's an enumeration tool. It's going to give us multiple enumeration results. So we do have this thing over here. We can start a Python HTTP server. So we can do Python 3 m HTTP server. You can enter the port 8000. If you don't enter anything over here, it will run by default on 8000. So we can just go to tmp directory actually, and we can just do get that file. So 10.10.14.12 and the port number that is 8000, and then we can give the file name that is LinEnum.sh. So we do get the file, so I'll just chmod it to 777. Since it's the target machine, it's okay because we have to execute this LinEnum file. It may take some time to run, and in the meantime we can check for like multiple group memberships over here. We can check for the release version as well. You can take this release and try to run a search exploit against it and see if you get any exploit or something for any binaries which are already installed and present in this box. You can do that, don't forget to do that. And it says admin user over here. We are not as friend, but so we can just scroll, and obviously first time when you do the box you have to look at each and everything and see if you get something present, but don't think that's the case. And we do have something for cronjobs. We do have multiple cronjobs over here, but don't think there are any which are interesting for now. So we do have few ports over here which is like listening. Probably most of them are like 53, that is your DNS port. There's some 953 port over here which is interesting. You can take a look at that and know what is present and what is listening over there. We have 445 SMB net bias port over here as well. So you can obviously scroll down, you can look for processes, if any processor which are running as user friend or root, because there was a user friend, right? You can check for that and you can see if there are any actual malicious process or some different unique process which is running. You can check for those things. You can check for the SUID as well as SGID files present over here, and see if any binaries. You can take these binaries and in GTFO bins you can check it out and see if there is any escalation present, privilege escalation for SUID as well as SGID. There are few with POSIX capabilities, and you can earlier we had seen one box with POSIX as well. So I don't think there's anything over here interesting. So we do have this thing, we do have index.pack file, so you can check for this as well and see if there is anything present over here. And LinEnum.sh did not give anything now, so probably we can try and have a T-scan, that is the thorough scan. So it's going to do an in-depth scan and give us multiple results probably, so which may be interesting. So let's just check that out. Hope the scan gets done quickly. It takes some time to execute, but yeah. So there's a lot of output. Obviously you have to analyze it slowly. What I usually do is whatever I find interesting in LinEnum, right? I take that and I copy it. I create a tree maybe over here and I copy it just over here itself and see like interesting things to check. So probably later on, first I'll just collect information from the scan and then probably I'll try to check out for interesting things present. So we do see that we do not have anything over here, and it says there is a world writable files. I think the previous one as well, it might have caught it, I'm not sure. Without the T, it should have caught it, I guess. Let's just check quickly. Nah, I don't think so that world writable directories came. Okay, so we're good over here, and we do have this world writable directories, and it says this development reverse. So obviously these are the two files which we did add, and this also we did add. There's an interesting file over here which says there's Python present and there is something called as os.py. So OS is probably like an important module in Python, whichever you do like import OS and you try to run an OS command, right? So this is what we do have write access over here, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. So we do belong to this others group over here, that is this, like somewhere over here, others. And we do have read, write access. So probably if we try to call out for this os.py or something like that, not us, but if some root user tries to call out, so probably we can have this thing modified or something like that. So that's probably interesting. So let's just look into this and what we can do. into string files to check. So we do have this os.py, and another thing is I don't think there's anything else present over here in this particular file. And what we can do is quickly we can try and run a pspy as well. We did see that earlier the OS is like 64-bit, right? So 64-bit is present over here. So let's just locate the file, that is locate pspy 64s. Let's just do that and get this particular tool. I already have it present. You can get it from GitHub, the S version or the normal version as well. So we do have pspy. So let's just do wget 10.10.14.12. pspy is like searching for cron jobs or like cron tabs or like schedule jobs in short. So which are like scheduled every 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that way. So those things are present. Obviously in the cron tabs it may give us limited information, but pspy would actually sniff all the packets and see. So we can even check for files over there in pspy, sorry. So let's just do that. It may take some time for transfer. So it's done. So let's just do chmod and 777 pspy 64s, and let's just execute pspy now. You can give the F switch for the files as well, but let's just run with this and see if you get something interesting over here. Usual processes over here, nothing much I guess. Foreground, no process, clear, FTP, startup triggers. Say something like network dispatcher over here for something. Let's see if this thing runs. We are basically checking for a job which is going to run every few minutes or something like that, probably because we do have something over here which is running. So let's just give it maybe a minute again. Or what we can do is we do have something which is saying opt server admin reporter.py. So there is something present over here, server admin reporter.py, and we can copy this thing and see, probably because it did run after executing this pspy, right? So let's just give it 1 more minute probably. Let's see if this thing actually is. I'm not sure how often this job is running. Probably it should be 1 minute if it does run again. I don't think not sure. Let's see. It's running with UID 0. That means it's running as root over here and not any other user. Admin reporter.py. If it does not actually run now at 25, so let's just quickly go and check out this file and see if there is something interesting present. Hope it runs. And we see that it's actually running a file over here which is like this reporter.py, but for some reason, obviously it's just like a 2-minute job over here, 26, and this one did run on 24. So that's good enough confirmation that this particular thing is present over here. So we can just do Ctrl+Z and we can quit that, and let's just go and cat this reporter.py probably. So let's just do this. And it says we do have this file, we do have read access over here. So what we can do is we can just cat it, and we do have this particular file over here. So let's just copy this thing, and we can just create a file that is reporter.py, and it says import OS. So now if you connect the dots, it's like we do have reporter.py which is importing OS already. So first thing obviously that came in my mind, probably it's like you can try and add some malicious command in OS, and let's see if that thing gets executed. Because over here I don't see any way. Obviously that cron job is running every 2 minutes, so most likely it is for something. It can be a rabbit hole as well, but over here these commands are, you know, the command, OS command, everything is like in, what do you say, it's commented out. So only command what is running is a sprint command. It is taking 2 variables over here. That's it. There's nothing else present, and it's importing OS. Now let's just try and see if we import OS and if we write something in OS, if we are able to achieve command execution or no. So what I did was, initially when I did the box, I just created basic 2 files. Okay, so first let's just create a file, that is, just create mutednuts.py, and I'll just create another file, that is priv.py. okay, so my bad, I just created a folder, priv.py. So I have these 2 Python files present. So I think it's user bin Python 3. I'll just use Python 3. You can use Python 2 as well. So okay, fine, let's just use Python 2. User bin, because in the box there's Python 2 present, so user bin Python. So let's just do that. And then probably over here I want to have something like, I want to import mutated nuts. So obviously I can import it. It's not hard and fast rule that it should be some proper library or something. You can create a custom file over here, and you can import that over here. And you know, in coding, these things usually happen. Like you have classes, all these things like functions. You're trying to get those things present in over here. Okay, so multiple things happen. So you can do that as well. So I'll just do mutated nuts. I don't need to enter .py. And what I'll do is, I'll just try and enter something like print command over here. And you don't need to give the brackets in Python 2, but I'll just give because I'm used to it. And over here I'll just print as priv file was executed successfully. Okay, so this is the priv file, right? priv.py. So I'll just enter priv.py just to make it simple. And we do have mutated nuts over here. What we'll do is we'll just comment this thing for now, and we do have priv.py, and we can just try and create. Okay, so let's just chmod it to 7 or 6, probably 7, 4 read access for other 2, the group and the others, and we can just give priv.py, and now we can just execute this with Python priv.py, and it will obviously just print priv.py file was executed successfully. Okay, so I do that over here, mutated nuts. I'll enter the same thing, almost the same thing over here. I don't think I require the second command. I'll just remove it. I require the print though, so I'll just remove this, enter this, and over here I'll mention something like mutated nuts.py file was executed successfully. Okay, so this is what I'm actually entering over here. So what I'll do is, I have this particular mutated nuts.py, and if I run this file, obviously I'll just chmod it first, and if I run this particular file, what it's going to give me is, it's going to give me something like mutated nuts, obviously the same thing what we got earlier. Mutated nuts.py file was executed successfully. This is what I get if I run this particular mutated nuts.py file, because obviously that's what I've written over here, right? Now my question is, if I'm trying to import mutated nuts.py, mutated nuts, the file, py file, will this mutated nuts actually execute, or it's just going to add it to the memory or something like that? Okay, so this is what is happening, and we can have this the module injected and hijack a module or something like that. So if we just try and do something like Python priv.py, and we do see, since we had imported this mutated nuts, this file actually got executed, which is this thing. And we do see this thing actually got executed over here, and then the py file, obviously it got executed. So in short, if we enter any command over here, in our case we have read write access over here, os.py, And this reporter.py is actually importing this particular, where did report, okay, it's actually importing this import os, which is present over here, that is os.py. If we write some malicious command over here, and the actual, this thing is actually running as uid 0, this reporter.py, so we can probably get a root shell over here. Okay, so this is what it is. So what we'll try to do is, first we'll try to get the os.py file from the Python box, sorry, the attack machine, sorry, the target machine, my bad. So let's just try to do a cat over here, and you can do os.py. It's obviously a huge file, so if you want, you can try to manually, copy it. Or what we can do is, I think we do have nc over here. We do have netcat present. So we'll just try to get a file over here from using netcat. So we'll just do nc and nvlp 5555. We'll just output it as os.py. So we're waiting for a connection. We'll send this connection over here. So we'll just we can just do nc and attack machine's IP address and the port 5555, and over here we'll supply with this switch the os.py file. Sorry, so let's just do that, hit enter, and it's come over here. It says unknown, the connection is come, but for some reason it's not going to terminate, I guess. The file is fully come. Okay, I think it's done. Just do Control C. And let's just look at the os.py, and obviously you do have this os.py file present over here. And what we can do is, in the end, I'll just probably enter something like, a normal system command. You can obviously check, so you can enter system over here. Usually we just do like something like os system, right? We do not need to enter os system because we're already present in the os module. So just enter something like system over here, and we can enter a Python reverse shell. So we can do that, or instead, if you just want to play safe, you can go to Pentest monkey over here and go to reverse shell, and you can have the perl one done as well. So you can execute perl because you're executing system command. You can do Python as well, that works, but I just wanted to be safe, so you can use perl as well. And let's just look at perl, if there's perl present over here, and perl is actually present in the box. So let's just try to do this. Let's just enter perl, and let's just take this system command over here, and we can enter this perl script. So this is actually executed as this particular. So obviously we'll just add these things over here, 3 quotes, because you're entering a command inside that. So this whole thing will be executed as a sh command or something like that. Okay, so let's just modify the IP address to a port. We can probably give 5555. Okay, and save it. That's it. We don't need to do anything. So we do have this particular os.py file present, and we'll just try to wget and get it into the temp directory first. The reason is because we can actually try to cat it and then update it with the current os.py. So we do that, and we do get that os.py file over here. We do have os.py over here. What we can do is we can just create a netcat listener over here as well. nc nblp 5555, and as we saw earlier, most likely the mutated nuts command, if we imported that, it did run, right, this print command over here. So most likely if it imports os.py, that reporter file, which is this, if it's going to import os.py, it's going to import this particular os.py module, and this system command will actually execute. So let's just see if that works. So what we can do is we can just do cat, and we can do os.py because we want to cat the contents of os.py to this particular file and overwrite it. That is the report. No, my bad. This is the user lib python, because we had read write execute access over here. So let's just do that. Let's just run it, and if we just cat this thing now over here at the bottom, and we do have this system perl command present over here. So let's just see if this thing actually works. So let's just wait for some time, or we can just run os.py. I think it was running every 2 minutes, so probably if you're lucky. It's 37, and we do see we get a shell over here because it executed few things, and we can see over here it executed sh command with uid 0. So most likely the shell which we got over here is root. So this is how we got root, and we can go to cd root and we can get and very well read the root txt flag. So this was the box, and this is how we got, the initial thing was a bit tricky getting that particular file. A lot of rabbit holes, multiple domains to look for, a lot of enumeration required. But I think the privilege escalation was a bit unique. That is your, library hijacking, the Python library hijacking. So that's what we are doing. We are hijacking that OS library, we are modifying it, and we are getting this root access over here. So this was the box. If you guys like the video, do give a thumbs up. If you all have any queries, drop it in the comments below. And if you guys are not subscribed yet, do subscribe for more upcoming videos. Thank you.